Hi, Rebecca Hessian. Not wrong, just different. Talking again tonight about ADHD relationships. And I had an interesting conversation with a colleague this morning as we were talking about the book project and how things were going. And it occurred to me that we may need to expand our focus. Up until now, we've been really focusing on relationships at home with the spouse and with children. What about at work? If there really are 8 million people with ADHD, and you and I both know the numbers are much larger than that, probably more like 16 million. They're working somewhere, and somehow we're trying to figure out what that relationship means at work, both for the person with ADHD and those working with them. And I know for me, because I have a husband and a son with ADHD, when I'm working with my colleagues, I get it. I get it from a different perspective because that's what I live at home. But for so many that are on teams with us, I see their struggle. I see the look, I see the frustration. And it occurred to me as we were chatting on the phone this morning that this is an area that needs as much perspective as anyone because at home you're tied by your hearts, right? So you have a different level and desire and need to make this work. And it's hard. I mean, this has not been a great week at the Hessian house. Had we not been connected by love in a marriage contract, I'm not sure I would have stuck it out. But there's no shortage of love, and so we do. Um, but at work, if you're not able to see ADHD differently, that these people aren't wrong, they're just different, it's really, really tough to understand how someone has so many thoughts everywhere, good thoughts, but when they're not able to put them in that linear fashion that is so driven in work today, there's a disconnect and there's a misunderstanding and a lot gets left on the table. I see it happen. I sent a few chapters of the book to a colleague who has written a couple of books, and I value her opinion, not because she has any ADHD relationships at home, but I just said, from a writing perspective, help me out with this. And she came back to me with some good feedback on the writing, but she said, you know what, Rebecca? She said, I went into a meeting with, we'll call him Joe, one of our colleagues who is raging ADHD, and she said, I had the most productive meeting I've had with him in years because I saw him differently. And so much of what you shared with me really helped me have a productive meeting. And I think there's something to this. What do you guys think? Should we expand our thinking and start talking about work relationships? I want to hear from you. How's it going?